In this episode of Rich in Relationship, the full guide to why your relationship together feels harder than it should. My wife and I could clearly see where we wanted our lives to go. And we were working together. We had a business together. We could even see where we wanted that to go. We had a vision. We had goals. And we were grinding, like we were making it happen. We were working hard. We were pushing. But there's a problem with grinding. There's actually very little fulfillment in it, because grinding starts to feel like you're paddling against the current or running up a down escalator. You're running hard, but something seems to be pushing you back. You're moving, but you're exhausted, and somehow it feels harder than it should. Eventually, in terms of the business, my wife got tired and she checked out. She quit. Honestly, even in the marriage, I think we both checked out. We slipped into parallel lives because we were both trying so hard and we just were getting so little fulfillment. And it wasn't because she was weak or I was weak. It wasn't because we didn't care. It was because somewhere along the way, we shifted from building to surviving to grinding, from creating to reacting. And looking back, I know what would have saved us. And it certainly wasn't more effort, because we were busting our asses. We had 5 kids. Pushing, we didn't need any more pushing. What would have made a difference was stepping back and being co-creative, proactive, working smarter instead of harder. Because when couples, particularly entrepreneurial couples, stop creating, they lose a lot of their motivation. Yeah, grinding gets things done. It checks boxes. It might give you a little adrenaline hit. There's maybe a little dopamine hit every time you get something done. Oh, another email taken care of. But it's not real fulfillment. When couples stop creating together and they just go for that little dopamine hit, it's just not the same. And when you're entrepreneurial couples, that's happening at home and at work. So your whole life is filled with that. This episode is dedicated to helping you avoid that pitfall. Now, I have found that there are 5 hidden drags that quietly make relationship, entrepreneurial or otherwise, feel far harder than it should. And together, they will turn your life together into a down escalator. So the first drag, are you ready? We've talked about this in the last episode, survival mode. A couple told me, I feel like all we do is survive. We are robbing Paul to pay Peter. We are making money and it's going out as fast as we make it, and sometimes it's going out faster. Employees, kids, parents, deadlines, taxes, you name it, it's killing us. The big shift that we help them to attain, we help them shift from just responding to what's urgent to carving out some time to focus on what's important, because important things often aren't urgent. Putting aside money for retirement, super important, definitely not urgent. Putting aside money for your kid's college, even more important in some ways, definitely not urgent. We help them to have regular meetings where they looked at the vision for their family, and because they were an entrepreneurial couple, the vision for their business. We protected the time that they needed to invest in growth with them, and we helped them to create intentional rituals that made sure they didn't lose sight of this. I mean, this basically involves calendaring the intentional rituals as boulders. A boulder is something you do not move in your calendar unless you are having a major crisis, and you better not go very far. All right, are you ready for drag number 2? Drag number 2 we call not it, and I know you know this one, all right? You've heard me complain about the dishwasher. Not mine, not it. Oh, let's talk about bookkeeping. Thought you had it. No, I thought you had it. Everybody wants the same outcome. Nobody wants the ownership. Cleaning out the closet. Not it, not mine, unless you have somebody who really likes that. Cleaning toilets. Do you know anyone who really loves that? Well, we've worked with couples who have this problem, and we help them to clarify roles and ownership, right? Super important that somebody owns responsibility for everything in your family. And if you're working together, everything in your business. You may need to delegate it to someone else. And if you delegate it to someone else, then someone needs to own holding that person accountable. When there's lack of roles and ownership, there's lots of room for blame and resentment. Are you ready for drag number 3? Overlap. A couple that we worked with, because they didn't have any clear roles, had certain areas of overlap. Overlap would be at home. Both of them were arranging kids' birthday parties and not always communicating about it. And so sometimes one kid would have like 2 parties booked at the same time, would say, what? I was doing that. No, I was doing that. Or at work. Both of them loved to talk to the clients about what was going on with the accounts. And so the clients were overhandled and sometimes given confusing methods. And then guess what? When people don't talk to each other and they're doing the same job, they actually work at odds to each other. Something breaks, and guess what they said? I thought you had it. No, I thought you had it. We helped them identify the holes in the partnership, both at home and at work, clarified ownership, and helped them get on the same page because overlap creates invisible friction. You ready for drag number 4? These things often lead to parallel lives. We worked with a couple that came to us and said, hey, you know what? We are getting things done. We're very efficient, but I miss feeling like we're together. I'm taking care of one set of things, they're taking care of another. We're always pulling, we're always carrying, we're never recharging together. So through our program, we identified how they were using their time. We identified where they wanted to co-create. We helped them start the process of co-creation and make sure they had a plan in place. That co-creative process continued. And sometimes it looked like maybe taking a retreat together, and sometimes it just looked like a weekend check-in. They started dreaming together again. They started asking, what are we building together? And here's drag number 5, tag team parenting. Also in entrepreneurial couples, tag team business management. Maybe one parent is working, the other parent is covering at home. There's constant handoffs. Hey, when do I get to jump in? When do I get to jump in? Hey, I got something I need to take care of. You come in. Neither parent is really complete. They always feel stressed. They never feel like they're fully present for any task because a part of them is somewhere else. Constant handoffs, constant disconnection from the moment. One of them said, I feel like I'm getting highlights of my own family. The other one said, I feel totally disconnected from why I ever went into business. Well, we helped them separate business from family, mission from charter. We helped them get clarity again on the purpose they wanted to fulfill in both of these areas, both of them, because there was a lot of fuzziness and discomfort. We helped them re-engage in the intentional design problem. Now, one of these drags on their own will cost you a lot, but 2, 3, all of them, they will kill your marriage and kill your business. Survival mode, not it. Overlap, parallel lives, tag team parenting, and business management, they will freaking wipe you out. They are combined a massive down escalator. And I want to reassure you, this is not your fault because nobody taught you this, right? There was no handbook. We never got a real handbook on parenting. And how much did anyone teach you about being an entrepreneurial couple? If you're working together, no one gave you the handbook. You're not lazy. It's not that you're not working hard enough. You aren't actually failing, right? If you're keeping all the plates spinning, you're actually doing pretty well. You're simply running up a down escalator. And when you get all these things lined up, when you get the handbook on what's important in your family and the handbook on what's important in your business, you can start riding up the up escalator. That doesn't mean you're not gonna work. It just means you don't have to work as hard. You don't have to push as hard. You can step back. You can get creative. You can work smarter. You can build smarter. You can be proactive. Hey, if you like what you're hearing here and you want to hear more, share it, subscribe. Let us know that you think this content is important for you and others like you. And in the meantime, have an amazing day and a fantastic tomorrow.